In what many expected to be a routine opening statement from the top seed in the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers found themselves stunned on their home court by a surging Indiana Pacers squad that has made a habit of rewriting narratives in the postseason. Entering the series as underdogs, Indiana flipped the script and stole Game 1 in dramatic fashion, exploiting Cleveland's vulnerabilities and exposing the cracks in what had been touted as one of the NBA's most formidable defensive units all season. The absence of all-star point guard Darius Garland loomed large over the Cavaliers' game plan. Garland, sidelined for the third straight game with a lingering toe injury, was ruled day-to-day. But his unavailability was more than just a footnote. It fundamentally altered the dynamic of Cleveland's offense. Without his playmaking and shot creation, the burden fell squarely on the shoulders of Donovan Mitchell, who answered with 33 points but needed 30 shots to get there. Mitchell's efficiency was far from elite, and despite his undeniable scoring prowess, the Cavaliers lacked the fluidity and balance necessary to counter Indiana's dynamic offensive attack. Jarrett Allen provided a rare spark in the first half, delivering a thunderous poster dunk over Indiana's Miles Turner that briefly injected life into the home crowd. But even that highlight reel moment was a blip in an otherwise disjointed performance. The Cavs trailed by 4 entering halftime, and Mitchell's aggressive third-quarter drives narrowed the gap to a single point. But as the game progressed into the fourth, Indiana seized control. That's when Tyrese Haliburton took over. Matching up against the defensively renowned Jarrett Allen, Haliburton dismantled Cleveland's switching schemes with surgical precision. Allen, while excellent in protecting the rim, was exposed on the perimeter, a mismatch Indiana exploited repeatedly. Haliburton, the engine of Indiana's offense, finished with 22 points and 13 assists, orchestrating the game with poise and patience that belied his age. And then there was Andrew Nembhard, a second-year guard who came into the postseason with a reputation as a subpar perimeter shooter. That reputation is now in shambles. After knocking down 5 of 6 attempts from beyond the arc, Nembhard is rapidly becoming one of the most dangerous and surprising postseason snipers in the league. A career 29% three-point shooter in the regular season, Nembhard has transformed into a playoff marksman, currently shooting over 50% from deep in his postseason career, an unfathomable leap that harkens back to his breakout performances against the Knicks last year. The Cavaliers, meanwhile, surrendered 19 three-pointers on 54% shooting, a staggering figure that underscores the defensive lapses that plagued him throughout the contest. Once heralded as one of the NBA's premier defensive squads, Cleveland looked uninterested, disconnected, and out of rhythm. The layoff between the regular season and Game 1 clearly disrupted their momentum, but in the playoffs, there are no excuses. The postseason demands urgency, attention to detail, and execution. On Sunday night, the Cavaliers showed none of the above. While Mitchell's scoring volume was necessary, the lack of support behind him was glaring. Caris LeVert, who served as a secondary ball handler in Garland's absence, failed to capitalize on the moment. The Cavs' offensive flow was stifled, with 2 players, Mitchell and LeVert, combining for more than half of the team's 98 total field goal attempts. That kind of imbalance is unsustainable in a playoff setting, particularly against a high-octane, fearless team like the Pacers. For Indiana, this wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Fearless and efficient, they played with a level of confidence that suggests this series will be far more competitive than anticipated. Their role players, namely Nembhard and Turner, stepped up in critical moments, and Haliburton's composure gave them the edge in crunch time. With home court advantage now flipped, the pressure is firmly on Cleveland to respond. In the broader scope of the NBA weekend, another familiar postseason storyline unfolded. James Harden, once again, faltered when the lights shone brightest. In the Clippers' Game 7 loss to the Denver Nuggets, Harden managed just 7 points on 2 for 8 shooting. It was his lowest scoring elimination game ever, and the latest chapter in a career marred by big game shortcomings. Now, having lost Game 7s with 4 different teams, Harden's postseason legacy continues to raise eyebrows. Despite recording 13 assists, the fact that he attempted just 8 shots in 35 minutes of play has sparked renewed criticism about his aggressiveness and desire in clutch moments. And as the Nuggets prepare for their next series, they do so on just 1 day of rest, facing an Oklahoma City team that's been idle for 8. Historically, This disparity has proven significant. In the past 40 years, teams with 8 or more days of rest have won every game won against opponents with just a single day off, often in blowout fashion. At ESPN Bet, the Thunder are currently listed as 9.5-point favorites, an indication of just how much rest and rhythm can tilt the early stages of a playoff series. Lastly, as the MVP debate rages on, it's worth noting a peculiar historical quirk. No player has won both the MVP and the championship in the same season since Stephen Curry in 2015. As Shai Gilgeous-Alexander surges toward his first MVP award, history suggests that his path to a title will be anything but easy, even as he leads a supremely talented and deep Thunder squad. As for the Cavaliers, they must now regroup, reassess, and respond. Game 2 won't be about schematics. It'll be about heart, effort, and execution. If they don't find answers, and quickly, this could be more than just a stumble. It could become a collapse.